Glad to see you back in Sunday school. Last week we talked about baptism of Jesus and baptism of our own lives, so I hope you got to ask your parents some questions about baptism and if they remember you being baptized or themselves being baptized. But this week we are moving on in the story of how Jesus became who he is for us today. And in this story today we're going to talk about trusting Jesus. So I've got on my fuzzy sweater and fuzzy socks because it's cold outside, but the people in this story are actually going through some scary times too and didn't have a cozy sweater and fuzzy socks to keep them warm and comfortable. So we're going to learn about how Jesus calmed their nerves and really helped them get to where they were going. So to give you a little idea of where we're at in the story, at this time, Jesus was kind of getting known for being this really interesting guy who was different from all of the other people that were trying to become famous. And he was different because there were a lot of things happening to him that were really, really exciting. Like when he got baptized, you could hear God's voice coming down and talking to the people or to Jesus, and there was like a bolt of lightning across the sky. And then like the week before when we talked about how Jesus went to the temples and was actually asking questions and teaching the teachers there. So word started to get around that, okay, this Jesus guy is a pretty big deal. So at this point he has a following of some people that are following him, and he's kind of going from neighborhood to neighborhood, talking to people and really making miracles happen. So the story that we're talking about today, Jesus is trying to get to the other side of a sea, and he found a boat with his followers, so they went ahead and got on the boat, and they started to boat to the other side of the sea. Well, while they were boarding the boat and they were thinking about going across, a storm had rolled in and it was really windy. I don't know if you guys have ever been on a boat when it's really windy, but the water gets a lot of waves in it, and so when you're on the boat, it kind of is a little bit scary because you're rocking up and down, the waves are hitting the side of the boat. It's pretty scary. So Jesus and his followers were trying to get across the sea when this boat is rocking and moving and getting water in it, and wind is just moving them around. And Jesus is in the back of the boat, sleeping, just trying to get some sleep. And his followers were really worried. So they woke him up and they said, Jesus, like, don't you care that this boat is gonna sink with all this wind and storms? And I don't know, maybe Jesus didn't like being woken up from his sleep, but he was pretty upset, and he didn't say anything to people, but he looked up at the sky and he said, quiet, settle down. And basically, in the story, they say that the sea went completely calm, the wind was no longer rushing around them, everything was calm, and they could sail perfectly normal. And then he turned to his followers and he said, why don't you have faith? And I don't know if he went back to bed after that or not, but basically the people around him started asking, who is Jesus anyways? How can he tame or tell the wind and the water what to do with just some simple words? And that's actually where this story stops. So it leaves us hanging. We don't know what's going to happen next. But Jesus really changed a lot of people's minds about him in that moment because they saw the power that he held, and they were able to believe him a little bit more. So I think what this story tells me is I think that no matter what storm we're going through in our own lives, maybe it's not a windy thunderstorm trying to cross the sea in a boat, but maybe starting school again and getting homework again. That's tough. And still learning classes online or doing these Sunday school lessons online. Those are kind of storms in our lives that create challenges and that leave us feeling a little bit like upset and scared that either we're not going to do very well in school, or we're not going to have enough time to do other things, or we're never going to stop recording our videos and actually get back to classes in person. But in these moments, we have to remind ourselves and listen to God and remember that He will calm all storms. He's not going to put us through something that we can't handle. So, just like the followers and Jesus in the story today, we have to trust in God that everything's going to be okay. We might get a little bit nervous, but we just have to keep the faith and remember that Jesus will calm our storms. So today I have Joe demonstrating kind of the way that Jesus calmed all the people. Joe is actually really afraid of storms. Like, he'll run and hide and be so afraid of a thunderstorm, kind of like the people were in this story. And not that I'm anything like Jesus, but when Joe is scared, obviously not right now, but when Joe's scared, he likes to get up on my lap or come near me because he feels safe. And that's the way that Jesus kind of helped these people, is He made them feel safe. Now, obviously, Joe does not love me as much as people love Jesus because he's trying to escape right now, but you guys understand, you get the point. Jesus was kind of like that human to the pet cat, or I don't know, almost like a parent to a child. Okay, he says I'm done. No matter what challenges you guys face this week, just remember this story from today and remember that no matter how scary it gets, it's only going to get better. And God is going to help you through all of your problems and challenges. So let's go ahead and say our prayer for the week. Bow your head when you're ready. Dear God, thank you for making Jesus calm the storms for His followers so that He could share your word. We go through storms in our everyday lives, but we ask that you help us keep our faith and calm us during our challenges. We are so grateful for you and your Son, Jesus. Amen. Alright guys, we'll see you next week, and hopefully you get to wear a fuzzy sweater and comfy socks just like me. Have a good one. We'll see you later.